Hello, explorers! Do you ever think about how racial disparities affect various aspects of life in the United States? On average, black men in the United States receive prison sentences that are 19.1% longer than those given to white men convicted of the same crimes. Additionally, 15.8% of black students report facing race-based bullying or harassment. However, there's a significant bright spot. African American owned businesses are growing rapidly, starting up at a rate 6 times higher than the national average for women owned businesses. Despite these advances, the nation still struggles with its deep seated legacy of racism. Determining the most racist towns in America can be challenging, and such a list might be surprising, unsettling, or even offensive to some. It's important to remember that not everyone in these towns holds racist views. Many individuals and groups across the country are actively working towards racial justice. This list combines anecdotal evidence, statistical data, and historical context to illustrate how past racial attitudes continue to influence communities today. If your town appears on this list, it could be an opportunity for you to contribute to positive change. The idea is that understanding these issues can drive progress. Stick around until the end for some intriguing trivia about town names you might not have considered. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights. Welcome to We Explore, your passport to the world's wonders. Let's dive into the towns on this list, presented in no particular order. Harrison, Arkansas. Situated in Boone County, northern Arkansas, near the Missouri border, Harrison has a reputation for racism that is both historical and current. The town gained notoriety from a viral video by Bob Bliss, titled "Holding a Black Lives Matter Sign in America's Most Racist Town." Bliss faced abuse, racial slurs, and even death threats during his visit. The Ku Klux Klan has used Harrison as a headquarters, reflecting the town's troubling past. Historically, Harrison was infamous for the 1905 and 1909 race riots, during which the town violently expelled all black residents except one, creating an all-white community. Since 2003, the town has had a community task force focused on improving race relations, which has seen some success, such as removing offensive billboards and gathering thousands of signatures to support these changes. There's hope that Harrison is moving towards greater equality. Anchorage, Alaska. Far from the southern states, Anchorage reveals a less visible form of prejudice, particularly against Native Alaskans. Despite making up only 16% of the population, Native Alaskans account for 29% of all homicide victims, with Anchorage leading in violent crime statistics. Black Americans, who make up just 4% of Alaska's population, represent 10% of homicide victims. The city faces a severe issue with violence against Native Alaskan women, compounded by insufficient resources to address these crimes. Brandon Earl Meyer, a Tlingit, was murdered nearly 6 years ago, and no arrests have been made. His memorial has been vandalized, highlighting the ongoing crisis. In Anchorage's school district, black students are twice as likely to receive failing grades compared to white students, and Native Alaskans face an even higher rate of academic failure. These issues stem from historical colonization and existing achievement gaps. However, Anchorage is also noted for its rapid growth in racial and ethnic diversity. Leith, North Dakota. This small town gained unwanted attention in 2012 when white nationalist Craig Cobb moved in and purchased 12 plots of land. Cobb's goal was to establish an Aryan enclave, which he promoted through a PBS documentary, Welcome to Leith. Cobb's influence extended to the local government, where 2 of his white nationalist allies were elected to the city council in 2018. The town's residents, including Bobby Harper, the lone black resident, fought back against this takeover, staging protests and seeking to have the city dissolved. Although Cobb eventually sold his property and left, Leith's reputation was tainted. However, the town's resistance demonstrated a small community's ability to stand up against hate. Fresno, California. Fresno presents a stark contrast within California, a state often associated with progress. The western part of Fresno is predominantly Latino and Black, yet it suffers from significant neglect. The area is marked by poor infrastructure, overflowing landfills, and underfunded schools. This neglect is not due to the residents but rather to systematic issues within the city. Historical redlining practices, though now illegal, left a legacy of segregation. As a result, West Fresno remains economically disadvantaged compared to the rest of the city. Despite this, residents are actively addressing these systematic issues and working towards racial equity. Vidor, Texas. Located in southeastern Texas, Vidor has a dark history as a sundown town, where Black Americans were not welcome after dark. Despite efforts by local leaders to improve the town's image, many Black Americans avoid stopping in Vidor altogether. The town's demographics are strikingly skewed, with a population of around 8,600, of which only 39 are Black. The first Black resident moved in 1993 amidst Klan-led protests. Although a Black Lives Matter march took place in 2020, the town's reputation persists, with backlash from some residents. Nevertheless, the march represents a step towards change, with some residents actively challenging the town's racist image. Rochelle, Georgia. Rochelle, along with the broader Wilcox County, is notable for its historical issues with racism. The county is deeply rooted in tradition, with Confederate flags still visible and segregated proms being held until 2014. Despite the legal end of segregation, many schools continue to host separate proms for white and Black students. In 2014, 4 students, 2 Black and 2 white, created a Facebook page to demand an integrated prom, highlighting ongoing racial issues in the area. Their efforts have sparked discussions and movements towards social change, though Wilcox County has still significant work to do. Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Despite New York City's reputation for racial progress, Crown Heights has faced its own challenges. The neighborhood, known for its historical Jewish community, was a site of intense race riots in 1991 between Black and Jewish residents, an event documented in Anna Devere Smith's play Fires in the Mirror. Hate crimes have surged in New York City, and Crown Heights has seen a rise in such incidents. Jewish Americans in the area experience a complex racial dynamic, where they are sometimes included in the broader category of white privilege despite historical anti-Semitism. The COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately affected the Jewish population in Crown Heights, and there are ongoing concerns about media and local responses to anti-Semitism. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, often praised for its quality of life, faces significant racial disparities. Black students in Milwaukee schools are suspended at rates more than twice the national average, and the city schools have the highest achievement gap in the country. Despite its reputation as a relatively safe and well-resourced city, Milwaukee has the highest incarceration rate for Black men in the country. Over half of Black men in their 30s and 40s in Milwaukee County have been to jail or prison. The city's segregation, a legacy of historical policies, persists, though groups like Rid Racism Milwaukee are working to address these issues and promote racial equality. Honolulu, Hawaii. Known for its beautiful landscapes, Honolulu grapples with a hidden form of racism. The history of Hawaii's annexation by the U.S. and the subsequent decline of the native Hawaiian population reflects a legacy of exploitation and displacement. Native Hawaiians, who represent only 10% of Oahu's population, make up 51% of the homeless population on the island. The influx of tourism has driven up costs, exacerbating the housing crisis for Native Hawaiians. Visitors to Honolulu can contribute positively by supporting local businesses and avoiding chain embellishments. Pulaski, Tennessee. Pulaski is infamous as the birthplace of Ku Klux Klan. Founded in 1865 by former Confederate officers, the Klan's legacy of violence and terror is memorialized by a plaque still displayed in the old courthouse. While some Pulaski residents view the plaque as a symbol of Southern pride rather than racism, others find it offensive. Local initiatives, such as artist Bernice Davidson's murals honoring historical figures and events, aim to counteract the town's racist legacy. The effort to rename offensive places and address past injustices continues across the country, highlighting the ongoing struggle for racial equity. These towns represent a cross-section of America's racial challenges, revealing both historical and contemporary issues. While progress has been made, ongoing efforts are necessary to address these deep-seated problems and promote a more just society. What are your thoughts on the ongoing challenges and progress related to racial disparities? We'd love to hear your insights and experiences. If you enjoy diving into these important topics with us, make sure to subscribe to We Explore and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our next engaging discussion. Until then, keep questioning and stay informed, because with We Explore, there's always more to uncover.